You have been conditioned to believe that effort, struggle, and worry are the only paths to success. But what if I told you that the very act of striving is what keeps you from receiving? You were never meant to beg for what is already yours. The moment you desire something, it is done. It is already created in the unseen. Your only task is to align with it, to assume the feeling of already having it, and to trust the process. Look at nature. The sun does not struggle to rise. The river does not force itself to flow. The tree does not worry if it will bear fruit. They simply exist in harmony with the unseen intelligence that governs all things. You are no different. So why do you fight? Why do you doubt? Do you not see that the very act of worrying is an affirmation that you do not believe? And if you do not believe, how can it come to pass? Relax. Let go of the need to control every step. The moment you release resistance, the unseen forces move on your behalf. The universe is not working against you. It is responding to you. If you assume lack, lack is what you will see. If you assume struggle, struggle is what will persist. But if you assume that it is already done, that all is well, the world will shift to confirm your assumption. Do not ask how, do not ask when. That is not your concern. The seed does not question how it will become a tree. It simply trusts the unseen forces of nature. Be still, feel it as done, and watch as the universe works for you. The world you experience is not separate from you. It is a reflection of the assumptions you hold in the depths of your being. Everything you see, every event that unfolds, and every encounter you have is shaped by the inner world of your imagination. You may believe that circumstances happen to you, that life is an external force moving beyond your control, but this is an illusion. In truth, everything originates within. Consider for a moment that every belief you hold, every assumption you entertain with conviction, is the seed of a future reality. What you accept as true in your mind, whether consciously or unconsciously, takes root and eventually expresses itself in the world. You do not need to force it, nor do you need to concern yourself with how it will come to pass. The process is automatic, as natural as the rising of the sun or the growth of a flower from a seed. If you wish to understand why your life unfolds the way it does, look no further than your dominant thoughts and assumptions. Are you constantly dwelling in the idea of lack, failure, and struggle? If so, your external world will reflect these states back to you with unwavering accuracy. But if you choose to assume abundance, success, and ease, life must conform to these ideas just as faithfully. The world is a mirror, and it cannot reflect anything but the image you hold within. The power of imagination is not mere fantasy. It is the creative force of reality itself. Every great invention, every piece of art, every achievement first existed in the mind before it became visible. The same principle applies to your own life. What you persistently imagine, with feeling and conviction, must take shape in your experience. Doubt, fear, and worry are the great disruptors of this process. When you question whether your desires will manifest, when you look to the external world for proof instead of trusting your inner vision, you delay the very thing you seek. It is not enough to wish or hope. You must know, you must assume with unwavering faith that what you desire is already yours. Think of a dream you once had, something you longed for that eventually became a reality. At some point, you either consciously or unconsciously assumed it was possible, even inevitable. You may not have realized it then, but you had aligned yourself with that outcome, and life arranged itself to fulfill it. Now, imagine applying that same principle deliberately. If you want a new reality, you must first construct it in your imagination, not as something distant or unattainable, but as something already present. See yourself as the person you wish to become. Feel the emotions of already having what you seek. Walk in the certainty that it is done, even when physical evidence has not yet appeared. The moment you accept it as truth within, the process of manifestation begins. There is no force outside of you that determines your fate. No external power holds authority over your life. You are the creator, whether you realize it or not. And the world you move through is nothing more than a reflection of your deepest convictions. If you wish to change your reality, change what you assume to be true. Release the need to control the details. Do not concern yourself with how things will unfold. The mechanism of creation is not yours to manage, it is yours to trust. Simply hold firm to the assumption of your desired reality, persist in the feeling of already having it, and allow the unseen forces to work on your behalf. It may seem too simple, but this is the great secret of life. Those who understand it move through the world with ease, knowing that everything they seek is already within them. Those who doubt remain trapped in a cycle of struggle, believing themselves at the mercy of circumstances. Choose then to assume the best. Let your imagination create the reality you truly desire. For what you believe with conviction, what you persist in imagining will harden into fact. It is law, and it cannot fail. Desperation is the great repellent of all that you seek. It signals lack, fear, and disbelief, and in doing so it pushes away the very things you desire. When you chase after something, whether it be love, success, wealth, or recognition, you are unknowingly affirming that you do not have it. Your pursuit is not one of confidence, but of scarcity, and scarcity only breeds more of itself. The more you reach outward, the further your desires seem to move away, like a shadow that lengthens when chased, but disappears when ignored. When you desire something deeply, it is natural to want to take action, to force the result into being. But this is where most falter. They mistake force for power and effort for creation. The truth is, desperation is an act of disbelief. It is the unspoken statement that what you want is separate from you, that it exists somewhere beyond your reach, and that you must struggle to obtain it. This very mindset ensures that your desire remains just out of grasp, because the external world is only reflecting your internal state. If you believe you are lacking, then lack is what you will continue to experience. Faith, on the other hand, is the great attractor. To trust completely is to know that what you seek is already yours, that it is not something to be gained, but something to be revealed. When you have faith, you no longer feel the need to chase, because you understand that there is nothing to chase. You operate from a place of certainty, and in that certainty, your desire is free to flow toward you effortlessly. Consider the nature of a magnet. It does not run after metal, nor does it plead for it to come near. It simply exists in a state of alignment, and by doing so, it effortlessly draws what belongs to it. You must become the same. When you embody the state of already having, already being, already knowing, all that you desire comes toward you with ease. There is no struggle, no force, only alignment. Those who succeed in life are not the ones who grasp and cling, but the ones who trust. They move with an air of calm assurance, as if they already possess the thing they desire, and in time the world rearranges itself to make that assumption true. They do not check and recheck for signs, nor do they allow doubt to take root. They understand that just as a planted seed does not need to be dug up daily to see if it is growing, their desire does not need constant worry to manifest. Imagine for a moment that what you want most is already done. How would you feel? How would you move through life? Would you be anxious, or would you be at peace? Would you seek reassurance, or would you rest in the knowing? The answer is clear. When you believe something is truly yours, you do not stress over it. You do not question when it will arrive or how it will come. You simply expect it. And in that expectation, it must appear. This is the difference between those who struggle and those who receive effortlessly. It is not luck, nor is it external privilege. It is a state of mind. The ones who trust are the ones who receive, for their trust signals to the universe that they are already in possession of their desire. The ones who doubt and chase push their desire away, affirming with every moment of worry that it is still absent. To shift from desperation to faith is to shift from struggle to ease, from delay to fulfillment. The moment you let go of the need to control, the moment you surrender the worry and trust completely, everything you desire begins to move toward you. It has no choice. The law is certain, and it does not fail. So release the chase. Let go of the grasping. Move as if it is already done, and watch as life bends to meet your assumption. For faith is the key that unlocks all doors, while desperation only keeps them closed. To live in the end is to assume without doubt that what you desire is already yours. It is to move through life with the inner knowing that what you have imagined has already been accomplished, even before any external evidence appears. This is the great secret to creation. The realization that reality is not shaped by circumstances, but by your assumptions about them. When you embody the state of already having, the world has no choice but to reflect that reality back to you. Most people live in a state of waiting. They wait for signs, for proof, for permission from the external world, before they allow themselves to believe. They tell themselves, when I have the money, then I will feel abundant. When I find love, then I will feel complete. When I succeed, then I will feel confident. But they have it backward. The outer world is only a mirror reflecting the inner state. If you wait for external proof before changing within, you will wait forever. Instead, you must first be what you wish to see, and only then will reality conform. Imagine an actor preparing for a role. He does not wait until he is on stage to embody the character. He becomes the character long before the audience sees him. He walks, speaks, and thinks as the character until there is no distinction between the two. You must do the same. Assume the state of already being the person you wish to become. If wealth is what you seek, embody the feeling of wealth now, even if your bank account says otherwise. If love is your desire, assume the feeling of already being loved without waiting for another person to provide it. The feeling itself is the secret, the cause of all external changes. Living in the end does not mean ignoring reality. It means choosing not to be bound by it. The world you see today is simply a reflection of your past assumptions, but it has no power over what comes next. If you continue to react to what already exists, you only perpetuate it. But if you shift your inner state, if you assume and persist in the feeling of already having, you set a new cause in motion, and in time the effect must follow. Doubt is the greatest enemy of this process. The mind wants to analyze, to question, to search for evidence. But faith does not require proof. It creates proof. The moment you say, I will believe it when I see it, you have already defeated yourself. Instead, say, I believe it now, and I will see it because of that belief. Hold firm to the assumption even when nothing seems to change. Reality takes time to rearrange itself. Just as a planted seed takes time to sprout. You do not dig up a seed daily to check if it is growing. You trust that it will. The same is true for your desires. The world has no power over you unless you give it power. If you look to external circumstances for validation, you surrender your ability to create. But when you choose to live in the end, to fully embody the feeling of already having, your world must shift to align with that state. You are not a victim of life, you are its architect. And the blueprint is written in the assumptions you hold. It is not a matter of if your desire will manifest. It is a matter of whether you will persist in the feeling of already having it. The only thing that can delay it is your own doubt, your own decision to believe in what is rather than what can be. But if you persist, if you refuse to waver, if you walk each day as if your wish were already fulfilled, then fulfillment is inevitable. Choose now to step into the reality you desire. Assume it, feel it, live in it. Do not wait for the world to confirm it. You must confirm it within yourself first. And when you do, the world will follow, for it has no choice but to reflect what you've already accepted as true. Time is nothing more than a construct of the mind. It appears to move forward in a linear fashion, but in truth, all possibilities already exist. What you desire is not something you must earn, chase, or wait for. It is already yours. The only thing that separates you from it is your assumption that it lies somewhere in the future, rather than in your present reality. The moment you accept it as done, time bends to bring it into your experience. Most people believe that manifestation takes time, that there is a long road between wanting something and receiving it. But this belief itself is the barrier. When you assume that your desire is distant, you unknowingly place it out of reach. You reinforce the illusion of separation, and so the world continues to reflect that gap. You must understand that the delay is not real. It is a result of your own assumption. The moment you shift your perception, the timeline collapses, and what you seek moves toward you. Think of a radio. The frequencies of all stations exist simultaneously, but you can only experience the one to which you are tuned. If you want to hear a different station, you do not need to create it. It already exists. You simply shift the dial. The same is true for your desires. You do not need to force them into being. They already exist in the infinite possibilities of creation. The only thing required is for you to align with the frequency of already having them. This alignment is not an act of effort. It is an act of knowing. You must train yourself to feel, think, and act as if your desire has already materialized. The world will resist at first, appearing unchanged, but this is only an echo of past assumptions. Do not let it deceive you. Hold to your new reality, and in time, the external world will conform. Many people give up because they expect instant gratification. They look for immediate proof, and when they do not see it, they revert to doubt. But this is like planting a seed and digging it up each day to check if it is growing. The process is invisible at first, but that does not mean it is not happening. The moment you accept something is done, it is done. Time simply rearranges itself to make it visible. Consider those moments in life when things seem to happen instantly. Perhaps you thought of a person and they called you within minutes. Perhaps you desperately searched for a solution to a problem, only to find that the answer appeared effortlessly when you stopped worrying. These moments are not coincidences. They are glimpses of the truth. Time does not dictate when things happen. Your assumption does. If you believe that you must wait years for success, then years will pass before it arrives. If you believe that love takes time to find, then time will stretch out before you. But if you accept in this very moment that what you seek is already yours, then time has no choice but to adjust. It will move in the most direct way possible to reflect your new assumption. So let go of waiting. Stop imagining your desire as something that will happen someday. Live in the awareness that it has already happened. If you had your desire right now, how would you feel? How would you carry yourself? What thoughts would fill your mind? Embody that state completely, and reality will have no choice but to make it visible. The truth is simple. Time is an illusion. It is not something you must fight against. It is something that bends to your assumption. The moment you claim your desire is already fulfilled, you step out of the illusion of waiting and into the reality of having. And once you do that, the world must follow. Silence holds a power that few understand. In a world filled with noise, opinions, and constant external validation, silence is a rare and often overlooked force. Yet it is within silence that true creation happens. The unseen forces of the universe do not announce their movements, nor do they seek approval. They work quietly, reshaping reality in response to your inner state. When you learn to detach from external noise, when you stop seeking validation, and when you dwell in the stillness of knowing, you tap into an immeasurable power, the power to shape your world from within. Most people are consumed by the need to speak, explain, and prove themselves to others. They believe that their desires must be justified, that their dreams must be shared, and that their progress must be seen. But this endless engagement with the external world drains energy and weakens their creative ability. When you constantly talk about what you want, when you look to others for approval, you are giving away your power. You are placing your creation in the hands of the outside world, instead of keeping it protected in the sacred space of your mind. True power is silent. It does not need to be announced. It simply is. The most profound transformations happen in silence. Consider a seed buried in the soil. It does not make a sound as it breaks open and begins to grow. The roots extend, the stem pushes upward, and eventually it emerges into the light, all without noise. The same is true of your manifestations. The moment you plant the seed of a desire in your imagination, the universe begins working. But if you keep digging it up, if you keep exposing it to outside voices and doubt, you interfere with the process. Teaching from external noise does not mean isolation. It means discernment. It means understanding that the opinions of others hold no power over you unless you allow them to. It means recognizing that your reality is not shaped by what the world says, but by what you accept as true within yourself. There is a reason why the most powerful figures in history often moved in silence. They did not waste energy explaining themselves or seeking permission. They knew that real change happens within first, and only afterward does the world reflect it. Many people struggle with silence because they fear it. They believe that if they are not constantly doing something, talking about their goals, or seeking confirmation, nothing is happening. But this is an illusion. Silence is not inactivity, it is alignment. When you detach from external noise, you give space for the unseen forces to work. You allow things to unfold without resistance. You let the energy of your desire take form without interruption. The key to mastering silence is trust. You must trust that once you have imagined your desire as real, the process has already begun. There is no need to talk about it. There is no need to convince others. There is only the need to know, and knowing requires no words. It requires no validation. It is simply a quiet, unshakable certainty that what you have assumed will become visible in due time. Stillness is the space where creation happens. It is the moment before dawn when the world is quietest. It is the deep ocean beneath the waves, unaffected by the storms above. It is the space between thoughts where inspiration arises. When you dwell in stillness, you become a conduit for divine intelligence, a vessel through which the universe manifests its will. So step away from the noise. Stop explaining. Stop announcing your every move. Stop looking for validation in the external world. Instead, retreat into the silence of your knowing. Let your actions, your energy, and your unwavering belief do the speaking for you. In time, the world will take notice, not because you sought its attention, but because your inner power became undeniable. And when that happens, it will not be because you shouted your dreams into existence. It will be because you cultivated them in silence. There is a natural order to all things, a rhythm that governs the unfolding of life. The same intelligence that causes the sun to rise, the tides to move, and the seasons to change is at work in your life, orchestrating events with perfect precision. Your desires, once imagined and felt as real, are like seeds planted in fertile soil. They do not need your constant interference to grow. They do not need to be pushed, forced, or doubted into existence. Instead, they require trust, patience, and most importantly, the ability to let go and allow them to manifest in their own perfect time. Many struggle with this simple truth. They believe that the more effort they exert, the faster their desires will materialize. They watch anxiously for signs, constantly question the process, and attempt to control every detail of how things unfold. But just as a seed does not need to be dug up each day to check its progress, your manifestations do not need constant monitoring. In fact, the more you try to control the outcome, the more resistance you create. The energy of doubt, impatience, and desperation only serves to block what is already set in motion. Letting go does not mean giving up. It does not mean abandoning your desire or ceasing to care about it. Rather, it means releasing attachment to the how and when of its manifestation. It means trusting that once the intention is set, the unseen forces of the universe begin arranging all necessary conditions for its fulfillment. Your only role is to remain in a state of quiet confidence, knowing that what you have asked for is on its way. Consider the way nature operates. A tree does not struggle to grow, it simply expands effortlessly toward the light. The rivers do not force their flow, they move naturally, carving their path in perfect harmony with the land. The flowers do not demand to bloom, they open when the conditions are right. In the same way, your desires will manifest effortlessly when you surrender to the natural order of things, when you release them into the hands of the intelligence that governs all. The mind resists this truth. It wants control. It wants to micromanage every step, fearing that if it does not take charge, nothing will happen. But this fear is an illusion. Your conscious mind does not need to dictate every detail. Your higher awareness, the unseen creative force within you, knows exactly how to bring about the perfect outcome. When you let go, you make space for miracles. You allow the unseen to work in ways that you could never orchestrate on your own. Think of moments in your life when things seem to fall into place effortlessly. Perhaps an opportunity arrived at just the right time. Perhaps a long-lost friend appeared when you needed them most. Perhaps a solution to a problem presented itself the moment you stopped obsessing over it. These are glimpses of the power of surrender, proof that when you remove resistance, life moves in your favor. Letting go is an act of faith. It requires you to step back and allow the process to unfold without interference. It is the art of knowing that your desire is already yours, even if you cannot yet see it. It is the ability to move forward with ease, unshaken by appearances, because you trust the unseen forces at work. When you truly release your desire into the hands of the infinite intelligence, you no longer feel the need to question, worry, or force outcome. You simply rest in the assurance that all is working out as it should. So let go, let it be. Release the need to control and watch as life moves effortlessly in your favor. Just as the seed grows without your interference, so too will your desires manifest when you allow them the space to bloom. Trust in the unseen, surrender to the process, and you will come to see that what is meant for you can never be withheld. When you relax, trust, and allow the universe to work for you, you align yourself with the effortless flow of creation. Your imagination shapes reality, faith attracts what you seek, and living in the end allows your desires to materialize. Time is merely a tool that rearranges itself to bring you what is already yours. Silence holds immense power, guiding unseen forces to work in your favor, and above all, letting go is the final step, the surrender that allows your desires to manifest without resistance. The universe operates with precision, responding to the assumptions and beliefs you hold within. There is no need to force, beg, or struggle. Your only task is to trust, embody the feeling of already having, and let life unfold as it should. When you truly understand this, you step into a reality where miracles are natural, where desires manifest with ease, and where you no longer chase because you know it is already done. Thank you for allowing these words to remind you of your power. Trust the process, remain still in your knowing, and watch as the universe delivers all that is meant for you.